Hello! In this video, we will explore another interesting formation such as a wedge chart pattern. The rising and falling wedge patterns can be a great way to spot reversals in the market and offer you excellent risk-reward trading opportunities. But how can we build a strategy for the wedge pattern using fractals? Keep on watching this video to find out more. Let's move on and consider something more interesting, for example, a wedge chart pattern. This pattern can signal either bullish or bearish price reversals. A wedge is a price pattern marked by converging trend lines on a price chart. The two trend lines are drawn to connect the respective highs and lows of a price series over several periods. The highs and the lows are either rising or falling, giving the appearance of a wedge as the lines approach a convergence. How can we build a strategy for the wedge pattern using fractals? There are two ways to do so. First, you can take two fractals and specify that the last fractal's high is less than the previous high. Similarly, we can write down that the last fractal's low is more than the previous low. Using this method, we will not be able to get the most important thing, which is the boundaries of this wedge, because we would not know the entry point for a breakout from one of the trend lines. However, if we take the trend lines built on the highs and low fractals, then everything should work out. Let's try to do that. We will get two blocks of fractal trend line. One trend line is going to be built on the up fractals, while the other is built on the down fractals. Let's take more candles, for example, 20 on each side. We will plot them on the chart and try to understand how we describe this situation. We need to find this wedge pattern on the chart. Right now, you can see some random lines and probably do not understand anything. Let me show how I found the wedge. Here, we had a fractal followed by a second fractal, and the trend line was drawn on the respective lows of these fractals. Now, we need to check the up fractals. Here, there is one fractal, and here there is another. Once again, the trend line was drawn on the highs of these fractals. When these fractals appeared, the price was between these two converging lines. Here was a good entry point for the breakout of this wedge. How could we describe it in a logical formula? Put simply, the price is below this line and above that one, and these two lines go towards each other. Notice that the spread between them narrows. How do we determine that the spread is narrowing? We will compare the current spread value with the previous value. Let's write it down so it would be clear. We will take the Boolean expression block. We will also rename the fractal trend line blocks. The top trend line will be referred to as up, whilst the lower trend line as down. What logical conditions should we write? We need to write down that the difference between the upper and lower lines should decrease. In this case, it's the current value of the upper line minus the current value of the lower line must be less than the difference of their previous values. This will be the first condition. The second condition is that the current price must be within these lines. So we will write close is less than the top line and at the same time is more than the bottom line. Okay, we need to add a close block to the script. We will connect everything and display it on the chart as a histogram. Let's see which areas stood out. Here is a point where the price was inside the wedge. Notice here that it turned out that we had two wedge patterns at the same time. The first wedge was bigger and was built through these two peaks. The bottom points of the fractal are marked here. After that, this wedge narrowed. The price was right inside and you can enter on the breakout of this line. Here is the next situation. Our price was again inside the wedge. Let's try to mark the fractals. This lower line was drawn on these fractals extremums. When it comes to the top line, we had an up fractal here and somewhere there. The upper line was built to connect these peaks. That's how we got this wedge. The entry to the long position could be made when the price breaks through the wedge. Naturally, all of these conditions can be configured with various parameters to find the optimal set of fractals because TSLab allows you to do so. You may have noticed that the histogram highlighted all of the places where the price was inside our wedge pattern and these lines were converging. Before the lines converge, the price may break out above or below the trend line. Somewhere here, the lines have narrowed and the price has come out of them. At first glance, these wedge patterns are not easy to spot, but when you understand how the wedge is built and how it looks on the chart, it will be more interesting to apply them in your strategies. I believe that now you can find them with histograms easily. I'd like to point out that we did not consider one point. Suppose we have a situation like this. There is no wedge, but a histogram appeared. Why? Because the spread narrows and the price is within the lines. To remedy this situation, we need to add another condition. The bottom line should always slope up, whilst the top line should always slope down. How do we define it? We can compare the values of these lines. If the current value of the line is greater than the previous value, then the line slopes up. It would slope down if the value was lower. Let's add this logical condition to exclude this problem spot. We will have to add two more expressions. The upper line should decrease, meaning that the current value of the upper line should be less than its previous value. Likewise, the lower line should rise, meaning that the current value of the lower line should be greater than its previous value. Also note that by adding these two conditions, we can eliminate that condition here, because by definition it will work when our two conditions work. What did we just write down? The price must be inside the channel and is less than the top line and more than the bottom line. At the same time, the upper line should decrease and the lower line should rise. Okay. First, let's check on the chart as it was before. This situation should remain and that one should be filtered out. Now we save the changes. Okay, everything worked perfectly. I hope all of this makes sense now. That's all for today. In the next video, we will define a more complex pattern, such as head and shoulders. If you trade one of these patterns, we would love to hear from you. Post comments and likes. You can get the full package of our proprietary indicators, AlgoTradinglab, completely free by enrolling in our course, AlgoTrading with TSLab. Just check out the details on our website, algotradinglabnet.teachable.com. To claim your free indicators from the package, please check the link below the video. Want more great tutorials? Please subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking the button on the screen. You can receive instant updates, view activities, ratings, and comments. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you soon.